Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to look at our golden acrylics and two of the golden acrylics that I actually recommend, but I just wanted to do a little demonstration of the difference between the two for those who might not be sure which to get. So we have the golden acrylics, just the regular ones, and then we have the golden open acrylics, which is the slow drying acrylics. And I love them both. And some people will love the original more than the golden open. So I always recommend, and I'm just going to show you the difference, what they look like. This is the exact same color, same brand, different style of paint. So this is the slow drying acrylics and these are the regular acrylics. And they're heavy bodied professional grade acrylics. So they're both still really high quality and awesome. I don't think that I would say that one's better than the other in terms of just like the finish or any of that kind of thing. So this one is the regular. So I'm going to pull it and look at it a little bit. It's very thick and sticky, and I barely squeezed any out. So I wanted it to be evident that it's very thick, very sticky, and it dries almost instantly, especially when it's spread thin. So right here already, it's like, it's not even coming off on my finger. It is super dry. Okay, so this one is the regular acrylics. You know, regular acrylics do dry very quick, especially if they're really thick, because they're going to have more pigment. They're going to pack a punch, but they are going to be a little harder to blend with, which is where water sprayer comes in handy, or things like your gel or just any kind of acrylic medium that makes your paint more fluid can be utilized with the regular acrylics to help with the blending and dry time. So this, though, if you want to just work with the acrylics and not have to worry about mixing the gel mediums in or adding water or anything like that, and you're automatically going to get a slower dry, which will make it more like working with oil paints. Not exactly like working with oil paints, but more like working with oil paints, where it takes a really long time for it to dry. So this is the consistency of this. So it's going to spread a little bit more and be a little bit less scratchy looking. I don't know what other word to use for that. So it has more fluidity to it, and it's going to be wet for a little longer. So if I touch the paint, notice how it comes onto my finger. With this one, there's nothing comes off. It's dry. So this one has still a lot of moisture in it. And again, this is this just happens instantly. With this kind of paint, it's instantly going to dry almost, especially if you spread it thin and you don't mix anything in. With this one, though, you're going to touch it and it's going to stay wet. So, you know, you may like that, you may not. And what I do sometimes, if I know I want more blendability in my paint, is and I know that I'm going to mix white into most of my colors. So a lot of times I do paintings that are very light and I mix a lot of white in, is that you could use like this kind of paint, the regular paint, mixed into a slow drying titanium white or something like that. And the slow drying white would act almost like an acrylic medium, but instead of having to mix it into each paint, you're just using it in the white. And as long as you're adding it to most of your colors, it's going to help with the blendability, and it's going to help with the dry time being a little slower for you, so that you don't have this issue where you're trying to blend and it's just not blending. And maybe you just don't want to use water because you're working on paper and the paper buckles more, or you just don't like using a lot of water because it's just not your thing, whatever. Or you don't want the hassle of mixing in a medium, which you kind of have to mix into each color and make sure your ratios are decent and all of that to get the results you want. So this could just be a really easy option for making your paintings dry a little slower, making them a little more workable. And again, maybe that's not what you want, and you want the ability to build a little bit more texture really quickly and let it dry faster. So this, you could like layer it and it's going to dry, and then you can layer more and it will get thick, and for buildability, this is way better. For blending and fluidity and drying a little slower, for working with it and working around and mushing it around, and you want to do that, I would recommend the open acrylic. So there's a little demonstration for you. Hopefully that helps you decide between the two if you weren't sure. Make sure to leave a comment, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff to help me spread the joy of painting, or a comment about what other videos you might want to see. That's also super helpful, and I appreciate it. But either way, have a beautiful day, and thanks for watching. Bye.